Elizabeth Warren has 1,000 plans. Once she's president, you would think that did you legislate also? And so that makes the stakes so much.
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,488, silver at $17.54, and Bitcoin is trading around $8,238. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, bump stock owners aren't complying with an illegal federal ban approved through an unconstitutional bureaucratic process via the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. According to the Washington Times, only 1,000 bump stocks were collected in the run-up to the March deadline. There are between 280,000 to 520,000 bump stocks in circulation, according to the Justice Department. Activist Post reports that the feds would have to replicate that same rate of the collection either 280 or 520 times in order to recover all the remaining bump stocks, and that's assuming more devices are not secretly manufactured and sold in the meantime. To comply with the bump stock ban would be to merely encourage further confiscation efforts, but the lack of compliance makes it obvious that the policy is unpopular and will be expensive to enforce. Refusal to turn over the bump stocks is nullification in effect on an individual level. Hundreds of thousands of people are simply saying, quote, "We will not comply," end quote. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A 13-year-old Overland Park, Kansas girl was arrested last month and charged with a felony after police say her classmates claim she made a gun-like hand gesture at multiple students. The Mind Unleashed reports the girl, a student at Westridge Middle School, flashed the finger gun at 4 fellow students and then toward herself September 18th, after her classmates asked her which 5 people in the classroom she would kill. That's according to Overland Park Police Chief Frank Donches. The student, who remains unidentified due to laws protecting her privacy, was arrested and charged the day following the incident for threatening a mass shooting, according to the Johnson County District Attorney's Office. The girl admitted to threatening others, the police have said. The context of the conversation remains unclear, but the girl is now living in California, according to the Kansas City Star. The girl's grandfather, John Kavanaugh, told the Star the girl was simply mouthing off. Arrests of children have skyrocketed over the last decade. That's according to the latest statistics published by the FBI. The statistics, compiled from 2013 to 2018, revealed more than 30,000 children under the age of 10 have been arrested, averaging more than 6,000 kids per year. Equally disturbing as students 10 to 12 years of age topped 266,000. Activist Post reports that in the past, students and children were disciplined with consequences such as timeout and paddling. But as more and more schools replace handling things internally with external police state options like school resource officers, children are ending up with arrest records and their fingerprints stored in databases. Often referred to as the school-to-prison pipeline, the principal players in the funneling of kids from school to jail are the school resource officers. What may seem like routine policing or modern-day policing methods to some, others see as a human rights violation, a slippery slope leading to a criminal life, and a poor use of school resources. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
If you're the parent of a man-child, you know how frustrating it can sometimes be. The piercing sound of his video games waking you up at 2 in the morning. His insatiable hunger and inability to cook anything for himself. The messes he makes. The stress can be overwhelming.
Something will set them off, such as their man-child will tell them that they don't know how to tie a tie even though they're almost 30. They'll start shaking them and yelling and saying, "What the hell is wrong with you? Why don't you get a real job instead of working part-time at a board game store?"
The results of shaken man-child syndrome are devastating. Trauma caused by the brain colliding with the inside of the man-child's skull can lead to cognitive disabilities, making it even more unlikely he'll finally marry the girl he's been having a long-distance online relationship with for 6 years, or it can even lead to death.
He's not spilling cereal all over the couch or leaving his beard clippings in the bathroom sink intentionally. He truly does not know what he's doing.
For the Lab Report, I'm Stuart Adams.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
And Mark.
And I'm sure what we've got planned for people is going to rile them up one direction or the other. It seems, now this is sort of news to me, but it seems that Christopher Columbus might be considered a divisive figure in the United States.
That seems like it's true. I mean, I don't even know it's as divisive. I don't think people really, I think really people come down on one side. Christopher Columbus, bad because a lot of bad things happened. And the other side is, why do you care so much? Like, those seem like the sides.
I don't think it's fair to blame Christopher Columbus for the bad things that happened afterward. See, I think that with a lot of the people who would be on Christopher Columbus's side, they're divided themselves by the people who are like, oh no, the Norse people discovered the United States or North America first. So Christopher Columbus is just overblown, and that's the issue with him.
I would say that part is I'm down with that. That certainly the Norse are clearly established a place, Vinland, I believe is what it's called, and yeah, that's
so Columbus rediscovered. I mean, plus there were people here already. What kind of arrogance is it to say, "Oh, we discovered America, this place where there are already people"? Well, you didn't discover it. The people who were already there kind of discovered it.
I think that the discovered America line was disappearing when I was a kid in the 80s. I mean, we were clear who, oh God, what are these, the different people who did it? I can't remember off the top of my head what the Vikings names were that, might have established Vinland or whatever, but they existed and we talked about them even in school back in the 1980s and perhaps the 70s.
We never talked about them in school. It's only been on the internet that I've learned anything about, the North American
You
continent.
did go to school in Mississippi.
I did, yes. So it's not terribly surprising that their, history teaching would be slanted more so toward Europe than in other parts of the United States, certainly.
Right. And, so there's that angle, too. There's the people that are like, yeah, well, I think it's pretty clear at this point that there have been several waves of discovery of the new continent, two continents.
Sure.
And
well, that's sort of an arbitrary divide. I mean, it's one solid piece of land. There isn't really a dividing border between them.
There was. I mean, at one point, there were two separate continents, and they ended up knocking into each other.
Okay, well, this would have been
You know what happened,
ago.
right? Basically, all the fauna of North America wiped out the fauna of South America.
Interesting.
And I mean, the largest predator in South America at the time was like this large predatory bird. And, I'm sorry, eggs just don't stand up against rats. And they never have. Ask the dodo. So, and then complaining that Europeans came over and somehow, like a lot of these arguments are about genocide.
Sure.
Well, I'm not sure that's entirely fair to blame the Europeans. Admittedly, most of my heritage is European. At one point, I considered myself to be, Native American in part, but turns out that was a rapey Mongol. Sorry, everybody. I was just wrong. But
it happens.
Yeah, it happens. Rapey Mongols happen. Happen a lot, as a matter of fact. If you've got Eastern European heritage, chances are good there's a rapey Mongol back there someplace. So if you can't really blame the Europeans for having diseases that happen to wipe out a large portion of the Americas.
That's certainly true.
Certainly there were bad things done, plenty of them, but slavery wasn't unknown to our Native American brethren of 500 years ago.
Right.
Oh my God, this concept of taking people into bondage and forcing them to do things. It's not like, oh my goodness, we never heard of this. Or warfare, or, spreading empires, or any of this stuff. This stuff all went on.
Disregarding the Aztec Empire's name, right?
Inca, Mayan, all these people existed, and they did all this stuff. It just turns out that dirty Europeans were better at it and carried syphilis.
Well, the image that was portrayed when I was in school is, and I understand why people are understandably frustrated and upset by that image, was that, the Puritans came over talking peace and all of that. They wouldn't have survived that first winter if not for Native American generosity.
Sure.
Which they then went on to repay with massive amounts of genocide.
So we're going to call those pilgrims instead of Puritans because we are not in, like, their religion was a little different than the Puritans.
Okay.
The Puritans came a bit later, but yeah, that much is true.
But a lot of it wasn't intentional. As you were saying earlier, it just happened to
be
Most
of it. The vast majority of the deaths of the Americans, Native Americans, Indians, whatever terminology we want to use for this, are completely biological. Two ecospheres that were not compatible, that clashed together. It could just as easily gone the other direction, and it didn't. Probably.
Point.
The case made in Guns, Germs, and Steel is that the dirty Europeans sleeping with their livestock in their houses in the cold, cold winters created this hardier stock that was a bit more disease resistant, and they're the ones who came over, and they're the ones who did their thing, and, people had sex, syphilis went one way, gonorrhea went the other, smallpox came on over, just the way it is. If the Indians had had some awful plague that had wiped out Europeans in the very early days, then the story would have gone back, and it probably would have been another couple of 100 years before Europeans would have said, "Well, that's the land of the dead. Don't go there." But it didn't turn out that way.
Good point. I've never really considered that, and I would assume that it all comes back to this sort of European superiority that people tend to have over the rest of the world. They view the Native Americans as these sort of weak, peace-loving, nature-loving people, and the Europeans came over and just decimated them, took advantage of their kindness and generosity. When, sure, that was certainly true based on how it played out.
There's an amount of that went on.
But it wasn't necessarily intentional.
Right, and so we don't know exactly what the Arawak people were like. These are the people that were in that region that Columbus landed repeatedly 4 times, never to actually set foot on the continents themselves.
Really? Columbus never set foot on the continent?
No.
What a waste of a life.
I mean, if you consider the islands continents, yes.
I would not. I would consider them islands.
Okay. So it depends on how you view these things.
Sure.
It gets very well. Then why do we view the one landmass as two continents? Because it's two shelves. It gets complicated when you start using the term.
Well, that was my point earlier.
Yeah.
I view them as one continent. The whole division.
Well, how do you view Europe, Asia, and Africa?
As one continent.
One
as
continent.
Well.
So
yeah,
you're of the opinion that there are three continents: Afro-Eurasia and the Americas.
Yes.
And or the America.
Well, I mean, the rest is just arbitrary human lines.
Well, why are they? My question would be this: continents is a complicated term, and nobody can really agree on what they are. So why is, for instance, Australia a continent and not just an island like Greenland?
Because it's rather large.
So's Greenland is rather
Greenland
large.
is not as large as it appears to be on the map.
Agreed.
That's a result of, the 3D globe being put on a 2D map. That's why the latitudinal lines are, so far
Greenland's
apart there.
the largest island if you presume that an island and a continent aren't the same thing, and that Australia is a continent and not an island.
I don't know that I would call Australia a continent.
Okay, great. So now we have two continents, right? Or is Antarctica, which is also an island.
There is land there, yes.
Yeah. Is that an island or is that a continent?
I don't know how much land there is there.
More than Australia.
I'm also not willing to define these things so specifically that I'm like, okay, this is a continent, this is not.
We that like specific definitions get very sort of confused and upset about continents.
I can understand why. I mean, it's like trying to define something that, throughout most of history has just sort of been taken as a given. This is what a continent is. What are your thoughts on Columbus? 855-450-3733.
Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarist thinkers and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th. Visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL.
Warning, this is a privacy alert. You are being spied on right now as I speak by your phone. If you want this to stop, visit GoDarkBags.com and we'll show you how elite military units protect themselves and how you can too. Go Dark Bags are lab tested and guaranteed for life. Visit GoDarkBags.com now and enter discount code FTL to save 15%. That's GoDarkBags.com. Discount code FTL. Your privacy depends on it. End transmission.
Do you have a qualified plan, an IRA, 401k, or some other type of investment account? Would you like to learn how the ultra-wealthy take their retirement accounts and make them legally 100% tax-free? Have your money liquid and invest in literally anything you want to, completely tax-free with the blessing of the IRS. And no, it's not a Roth. Join us at dna.freetalklive.com for more details and your exclusive invitation to the free webinar on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Register now at dna.freetalklive.com.
Have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting LibertyCon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's LibertyCon.com.
A cool guy from middle school is still sporting his fat pair of Jinkos. A stunned St. Peter's Square crowd hears the Pope getting bitched out by God, and an 8th grader caked in makeup is probably really confident. This is The Onion Week in Review. This week, a Pew Research Center poll found that the vast majority of Americans would watch a television show called Love Trap, with most saying that regardless of the show's genre or quality, they would tune in weekly to see its stars stumble into romantic triangles, double-cross one another, and contend with whatever the titular love trap refers to. The survey confirmed that 62% of Americans would likely watch Love Trap to see a shrewd but cold-hearted Southern belle named Tammy. 23% of the nation hoped the show would be referred to as The Trap by its most loyal fans, and 15% of respondents said they simply needed something to watch. And in this week's science news, a biologist completes a 5-minute study of the pathetic organism in his mirror. In other news, a man confidently hits send on the worst job application a company has ever seen.
This is the Onion News Network.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and you can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind using our toll-free number, which you can find at 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
And Mark.
And Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, which allows you to buy and sell Bitcoin Cash using dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, or meeting in person with cash. The site has no KYC requirements, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. So finally, we have a global trading platform that respects our privacy. It's got competitively low fees, lower than you'll find at that other site. So sign up and get started trading Bitcoin Cash at local.bitcoin.com. It's a site that I'm absolutely in love with. It's probably the best thing to happen to me this year after being on Free Talk Live. So,
well, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't have even known about local.bitcoin.com if I hadn't been on Free Talk Live anyway. So all good things. Go check it out. That's local.bitcoin.com. Let's get right into the phones here. We've got Mary calling in from Texas. Mary, you're on Free Talk Live. Are you with us, Mary?
Hi.
Hi.
I am. Yes, I am.
All right. What's on your mind? You're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, slide up that potentiometer a little bit. Yep.
Well, I just had a Facebook Live talk about my 70th birthday, which is coming up, and I'm trying to go ahead and have people donate to Liberty International on my behalf.
Mary Ruwart, I asked you to call, and then I forgot to tell my main host that you were calling in. This is completely my fault. Let me give an introduction, if I may, please.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, probably one of the most influential people in the Liberty movement, and I would say undoubtedly the most influential living woman in the Liberty movement is Dr. Mary Ruwart. And for me, one of the pivotal moments in understanding libertarianism was reading the book Healing Our World. And Dr. Ruwart has written several books, but Healing Our World to me is the most important. And the reason is that this book is aimed at every person in the sense that it tackles topics that everybody's concerned with. Not politics or anything like that, but issues, basic human issues. And it explains them in a way that libertarians have been very bad at explaining heretofore prior to this book. And honestly, since, it's not like writing the book suddenly every libertarian understood how to communicate the message as well as Dr. Ruwart. However, we have been given a model, and that model is well worth the read. And Dr. Ruwart is just recently turned 70, mind you, a spry 70, I wouldn't have guessed. And she's offering any one of her books as an ebook for a donation of, I think it's $35 to, and what was the charity that you're doing, Dr. Ruwart?
Liberty International. It used to be known as the International Society for Individual Liberty, but the acronym was ISIL, so we had to change it.
I see.
And I chair that. Yeah, I chair that nonprofit, and we're doing a lot of wonderful things. So that's why I'm asking people to donate. And I have 3 books, so they can get their favorite ebook if they donate $35. If they donate $70, they can get 2 books, and if they donate $100, they can get all 3.
Very
It's an awesome deal. So what does the organization do?
Well, we do a lot of different things. Right now, our biggest thing is one of the things that we used to do back about 30 years ago when I first learned about libertarianism. We had issue papers, which were little pamphlets on different things, different libertarian topics. And
Liberty tracts.
Yeah, basically. And now we're trying to update them and turn them into little videos, pamphlets, because that's what people like today is videos. And, of course, we also have annual conferences. Our next one's in Colombia. Our last one was in Mongolia. And we have liberty camps throughout the world where we gather young people together to learn about liberty and really interact with all of these, faculty that's there. We also have a number of things we've done in the past. When the Berlin Wall came down, we had some of the first conferences on liberty in Eastern Europe. We translated Ayn Rand's books into Russian. Healing Our World was translated into 5 different Eastern European languages. And Ken Schoolin's Jonathan Gullible, I think, is now up to 45 or 50 different languages. And it's turned into a play, a musical, and they're now thinking of making some video animation with it. It's really exciting.
I'm glad I had a chance to talk to you about this because you made a Facebook post and I sent $35 right off the bat. Not because I'm looking for a book. I have signed copies of your books sitting on a shelf. I sent it because, if Dr. Mary Ruwart asks for $35, I'm sending straight away. That's just the way it is. And ladies and gentlemen, I would encourage you to do the same. I could not express a higher level of admiration for Dr. Ruwart.
Where can people go to do this directly other than Facebook? Do you have a website where people can go to contribute to Liberty International?
Yes. If people go to the Liberty International webpage, which is liberty-intl.org, they can scroll down on the homepage and they'll see an advertisement for my 70th birthday. They can contribute directly, or they can go to one of my Facebook pages, which is Mary Ruwart or Mary J. Ruwart, PhD. So they can go to either place and donate.
So what I'd like to offer here is, by the way, everybody, please go do that donation. Can you give the website one more time?
Sure. It's liberty-intl.org, or they can go to one of my Facebook pages, which, would be Mary J. Ruwart, PhD, or Mary Ruwart.
So when you do these videos, I'm happy to offer any voiceover work that you might need. I've got the equipment and the all that stuff. I can offer finished audio for anything like that. If you want to do video work, I'll try to work out how to help you on that. Secondarily, it's very important to me to spread the ideas of liberty to diverse places around the world, specifically to young people through these little camps and these sorts of things. I think that this is wildly important because, when you catch them before they get some, stultified political opinion. Get them early and explain these ideas to them early on. Specifically in, when people come bearing gifts, people are more willing to listen. So I'd like to help run a fundraiser sort of more long-term rather than just, a call here, which is great. And I hope you'll hold on till the next segment with me, Dr. Ruwart. But please, I'd like to get in contact and see how we can do sort of matching funds and work out how to run some ads and get people to really donate to this. I think this is very important. What kind of numbers are you trying to reach to send these missions out?
Well, for the birthday fundraiser, we're going for $7,000 because it's my 70th birthday. But of course, we need funding, as many nonprofits do. One of the great things about our organization is that we have a lot of volunteer help. So when you give $1 to
Dr. Ruwart, hold the line. I'll bring you right back.
Okay.
We're going to be back with Dr. Ruwart in just a moment, so don't go anywhere. This is Free Talk Live.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com, advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That number's 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
And Mark.
And sorry that came in so loud. We actually turned it up during the previous segment when we were talking with Dr. Mary Ruwart. And then I left it turned up while we came back from break, and the music was overbearingly loud. Sorry about that, but let's get right back to...
It's heavy metal music. It was made to be played loud.
You are not wrong. Let's get back to our conversation with Dr. Ruwart. Dr. Ruwart, welcome back. So the two of you were discussing Liberty International, and I've never spoken with you before, but it's an honor to speak with you. I haven't followed you like closely or anything, but I'm aware of you. I've read your stuff. It's wonderful, wonderful content. So thank you for all that you do for the cause of liberty. Now, Mark, you had additional questions you had.
Yeah, well, so we were talking about, is it liberty-intl.com?
Yes.
.org.
.org, very important, where you do a variety of outreach for the ideas of liberty, among them being these classes where people in foreign countries, you do these events in foreign countries where young people can come and learn about the ideas of liberty, and presumably they're enticed with reasons to come. Mongolia, Colombia, great places to do these things. I wanted to talk a little bit about healing our world. I think that this is a topic on Free Talk Live that's come up multiple times, and we haven't talked about your book in probably several years. So let's get back to this important volume in the ideas of liberty. So can you tell people about Healing Our World?
Sure. Well, it really addresses the topics that libertarians often have trouble talking about, like the environment, like the New Age perspectives and Christian perspectives. And also, it's become really the most comprehensive volume that lists all of the studies that have been done to show how liberty works in the real world. Because if it doesn't work in the real world, why are we promoting it? You know? So there's been so many great studies that show that just about everything that we talk about as libertarians has actually been done at some point in time in some country. And the last volume last edition, I should say, of Healing Our World had over 1,000 references of how liberty works. And I think that may be the most important part of it. And of course, I tried very hard to make it sound not like a tome, but very friendly, and really talk to people in a very practical way, because most of us really learned the libertarian ethic as children. We were taught to not steal from our playmates, not lie to them, not hit them. So really, and if we damaged their toys, then we were supposed to make it right again. So the libertarian ethic of the non-aggression principle was really something we learned as children. It worked really well for us, and we kind of threw it out as adults. So I kind of go through how we did that and why it hasn't worked for us, and why we need to get back to, basically the secret of universal peace and plenty that we learned as children.
What are some of the examples that you think were most effective and moving in healing our world?
Well, one of them was the emphasis on restitution. Sometimes when the non-aggression principle is talked about, the restitution component isn't put in there, and so it allows people to criticize the non-aggression principle. For example, Mark, if you and I were standing on a street corner and I was stepping out into traffic looking at my iPhone and you pulled me back, you'd actually be using, initiating force against me. But of course, I wouldn't be coming after you because I wouldn't want restitution. I'd probably be giving you a reward for saving my life. So when we use restitution as part of the non-aggression principle, it really dissolves all those criticisms that people have of the non-aggression principle. And then, of course, talking about the environment, libertarians don't do that very well. And it's really important, because if you think about the principles of ending sovereign immunity, using restitution or cleaning up our garbage, and then privatizing land and beast, those three things really really take care of just about every environmental problem that you can think of. So it's very exciting in that respect.
Right. The lefties sort of claim victory in the environmental sphere. They say, well, we're right. And everybody just seems to agree or whatever. They question the science, whatever the case might be. I come down in that, look, if the government is the largest polluter on the planet. The United States government, largest polluter on the planet. Why in the world would we entrust governments, these organizations that have shown themselves to have very little concern about the environment? Why would we give them this mandate towards the environment? Oh, well, if we give them a mandate towards the environment, they'll suddenly act better. Well, in what way have they been good in the past? What task have we handed over to governments that they've suddenly done well in the past? And, know, they're very good at that. But I suspect if war was profitable, then corporations, rather than employing governments to handle the outsource, rather than outsourcing their violence to the state, then corporations would probably be better at war than the governments are currently. At this point, the corporations are basically disarmed and must use the organizations that claim a monopoly privilege on the use of violence in order to do their violence for them.
Mm-hmm. Well, and just as government is the greatest polluter, it is also the greatest creator of poverty. You know, that's another thing that liberals tend to focus on is how we need to help the poor. But what is not recognized is that today's poverty is created by government through licensing laws, minimum wage laws. It basically keeps the disadvantaged out of the marketplace or makes it very, very difficult for them to get in. And as you're probably aware, the Institute for Justice has been really a prime mover in trying to stop these laws from continuing by showing basically that they really hinder the disadvantaged. So a big part of Healing Our World is devoted to showing how government creates the poverty that we see today, and that includes in the third world. The reason the third world is still developing is because their property rights and haven't really taken in the same way they have in the first world. In other words, there isn't free and clear title easily had in the third world.
Right.
And of course, there's a lot more regulation, so that's why they're still poor.
And people can get Healing Our World by participating in Liberty International's fundraiser here for your 70th birthday. By the way, happy birthday, Dr. Ruwart.
Oh, thank you.
And by simply going to liberty-intl.org and donating $35, and they can get the ebook there of Healing Our World. And is this the newest version? Because I know you've had several versions of that.
Yes, Oh, yes, it's the 2015 edition. It's the newest one. And the other option is short answers to the tough questions based on a web column that I did for the Advocates for Self-Government's e-zine for about 20 years. And then, of course, my newest one, Death by Regulation, How We Were Robbed of a Golden Age of Health and How We Can Reclaim It, which basically shows how the FDA has shaved 5 to 10 years off each of our lives.
Yeah, you've given speeches about this. You, by the way, being a former research scientist, research doctor. How do you say that?
Yes, I was in research in one of the pharmaceutical companies, the Upjohn Company, and so I really saw behind the scenes what was going on with the FDA. Most of this is very invisible to the general public. Even if a journalist, for example, wanted to study it, they really would have trouble
Dr.
getting it
Ruwart,
right.
I hate to cut you off. But
we do have to go. I just please get a hold of me. I want to get this fundraiser and make it very successful. And please go to liberty-intl.org and donate to Dr. Ruwart's campaign here. Sounds like a very worthy cause.
Absolutely.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame. He owed money to the IRS and they finally cut up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get to Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world. Then bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 800-590-4930. 800-590-4930. 800-590-4930. That's 800-590-4930.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com. Or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That number's 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
And Mark.
We're going to finally get into this Christopher Columbus story here because evidently, according to the Sacramento Bee, some people are a bit upset about Columbus Day and doused a statue of Christopher Columbus with red paint in San Francisco on Saturday night, celebrating the wait, they worded that so badly. So visitors to Telegraph Hill on Sunday found the message, "Destroy all monuments to genocide and kill all colonizers," painted around...
Kill all colonizers.
Yes.
See, now this is a disturbing statement. What
yes.
does that mean? Does that mean death to white people? I mean, that's what it sounds like to me when I hear it.
I mean, it sounds like something that a rich liberal white college student wrote.
Certainly. So colonization's a problem.
I would agree.
Let's not forget the United States is a breakaway colony of England. I hold no ill will to England. I think that many of the results of their colonization have been pretty positive, all in all. But let's also remember that colonization didn't start with Christopher Columbus. I mean,
it certainly didn't.
3 waves of people that came over the Bering Straits Bridge, and then all the other people that came a variety of different ways, paddling canoes and doing a variety of things.
I mean, isn't colonization essentially what Genghis Khan did?
Yeah, I would say that he was empire building, but I mean, he wasn't setting up colonies.
Okay.
But I mean, Genghis Khan certainly can be used in this. He's not a good guy if you look at by today's modern standards. I think it's always worth mentioning that there's a saying that in the Genghis Khan's empire, a maiden, meaning that a young lady who's not particularly strong, could carry a basket of gold on her head from one side of the empire to the other. Now that suggests a high level of law and order.
It does.
Right? I mean, so, let's just say that there's some positives and negatives, some give and take. But if we're going to have death to all colonizers, and we're saying that DNA somehow suggests colonizing, right? Like, I've never colonized anything.
They didn't
I guess
say
maybe.
that.
Now, right, they didn't say that, but I did move from Florida to New Hampshire for the Free State Project. Does that make me a colonist because I came here to set up sort of an alcove of liberty to work with in-state libertarians? Am I one of the very few modern colonizers?
I've got an interesting question for the left that Mark just brought to my attention. What is the difference between an immigrant and a colonizer?
I don't know the answer to that, but I'll bet they say it's color.
I would tend to agree, but now, I mean, you're not a colonizer of New Hampshire. You are an immigrant to New Hampshire.
Okay.
In the same way that people who are coming from Mexico are immigrants to the United States, and I'm totally fine with all of that. In fact, I'm totally fine with peaceful colonization. Now, going to a place where there is other sentient life, wiping out that life inadvertently or intentionally, I'm not okay with that.
No,
right?
Initiating force against other people, no matter what their race, ethnicity, or whatever the story is not acceptable.
Right.
Now, using force back and forth, this is one of the things about the colonization of the United States is we're basically at this point told it was all one-sided. There was Western expansion and nothing was going on, and there was much more than that going on in the early parts and sort of the Eastern tribes that have basically been wiped out and assimilated at this point. They almost non-existent, Cherokees, and with an exception. But the northeastern tribes basically gone.
Yeah.
That these situations were probably more back and forth. Bad things happen on one side, bad things happen from the other, and then ping-ponging back and forth until, well, the inevitable occurred.
Sure.
And remember, this is the old story of divide and conquer has been used pretty successfully by lots of different people throughout history, and that's what happened here in the Americas. One set of Indians has a problem with another set of Indians, so here comes the white man. Let's get the white guy on our side. We'll have ourselves a war, and we will wipe them out. Turns out, once you wipe them out, then there's half as many Indians to fight, and the other half is you. And that's how that goes.
Well, let's get back to the phone. So we got Steve calling from St. Louis. Steve, you are on Free Talk Live.
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I was just wanting to talk about the Columbus thing, too. I was in the chat earlier and talking to you about the social media post all day anti-Columbus thing.
Sure.
Like I said earlier in the chat room, I think it's just anti-white. Because it used to be. Like,
are you pro-Columbus? I mean, do you think Christopher Columbus is a great guy?
I care less about Columbus.
That's how I feel, right?
But I look at it as they're not really anti-Columbus. Most of them don't even know Columbus' story. It's just another monument they're trying to tear down. I think it's very anti-white. Like colonizing is going to, cure racism or something.
So you think being anti-Columbus is sort of a dog whistle for the left to mask their actuality of being anti-white?
Absolutely.
I'd like to hear somebody who's would come out and be overt about anti-whiteness. Exactly like what their solutions might be for this. Am I fine staying where I am geographically, or do I need to move back to where my ancestors came from? Are these countries going to allow me? Do I get to pick depending on the ancestor? Are these countries going to allow me in, or do I have to beg for permission from these countries? Is the liberal bastion that dislikes imperialism or whatever, are they gonna set up some expedited immigration system for me? How does it work?
What if we wanted to colonize the United Kingdom?
Who's we?
We free staters.
Okay.
Let's go colonize the
Libertarians
United Kingdom.
taking over the United Kingdom. All right.
Yes.
It's going to be highly unsuccessful, but all right.
Is that morally okay from their anti-white point of view? That's where I was essentially going with
I
that.
see.
Because I'm not sure it's really an anti-white point of view. I think they may legitimately be anti-colonization. And when we look at least...
No, they're very anti-white.
I know people say that, but when we look at history for the last several centuries, most of the colonization has been done by white people.
That's recent, yeah. But I mean, farther back than that, people were colonizing all the time.
Certainly. But
setting
it was
up colonies.
France that, turned Vietnam into the mess that it ultimately became.
Sure.
And the United States, picked up the tab and attempted to colonize, South Vietnam once the French finally failed. Same thing in Korea, Western colonization of Asia. Same thing in the Philippines. That one just turned out to be a little bit more effective because I think it happened under Andrew Jackson, if I remember correctly.
Who was that? What was that? Which one are we talking about with Andrew Jackson?
The
Probably
Philippines?
Not. Philippines was going to be later than Jackson. I'm guessing Teddy Roosevelt kind of time frame.
I mean, and then there's the banana republics as set up in large part by the United States to, be colonies in all but name.
So what do you think what are some of the best examples of them being anti-white that you think?
If you've ever been to or turned on your, TV or whatever, seen these videos of these people protesting the Columbus Day, it's a lot of anti-white signs and things like that. Like they're pretty open with their anti-white.
Like, can you give an example of one of these signs?
I mean, I don't know. I can't think of exactly what the signs say, but if you've ever seen some of their little protests, they have little picket signs.
I'll keep my eyes
Columbus
out.
Day is
I will too, but in the meantime, I would suggest that,
an American thing.
You are feeling attacked as a white person because you are struggling with the guilt that, throughout all of recent history, it has been white people who have been doing the colonization. And so you feel a little guilty when people come out against colonization because, you have ties to the white race. I don't either. Collectivists do. And this is ultimately, so you're interpreting their anti-colonization as being anti-white because you're creating those ties internally.
Do you feel like you're doing that?
No, not at all.
Well, thank you, Steve, for the call. I'm not sure. I would agree that there are large parts of the left that do come across as being anti-white, but I don't think that one has to be anti-white in order to be anti-Columbus or anti-colonization. I'm against both of those too. I have no issue whatsoever with white people or black people or Asian people or people of whatever ethnicity.
Yeah, what's your problem with Columbus? 855-450-3733.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years. years with experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,488, silver at $17.54, and Bitcoin is trading around $8,238. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing 1 or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, bump stock owners aren't complying with an illegal federal ban approved through an unconstitutional bureaucratic process via the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. According to the Washington Times, only 1,000 bump stocks were collected in the run-up to the March deadline. There are between 280,000 to 520,000 bump stocks in circulation, according to the Justice Department. Activist Post reports that the feds would have to replicate that same rate of the collection either 280 or 520 times in order to recover all the remaining bump stocks, and that's assuming more devices are not secretly manufactured and sold in the meantime. To comply with the bump stock ban would be to merely encourage further confiscation efforts, but the lack of compliance makes it obvious that the policy is unpopular and will be expensive to enforce. Refusal to turn over the bump stocks is nullification in effect on an individual level. Hundreds of thousands of people are simply saying, quote, "We will not comply," end quote. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A 13-year-old Overland Park, Kansas girl was arrested last month and charged with a felony after police say her classmates claim she made a gun-like hand gesture at multiple students. The Mind Unleashed reports the girl, a student at Westridge Middle School, flashed the finger gun at 4 fellow students and then toward herself September 18th. After her classmates asked her which 5 people in the classroom she would kill. That's according to Overland Park Police Chief Frank Donches. The student, who remains unidentified due to laws protecting her privacy, was arrested and charged the day following the incident for threatening a mass shooting, according to the Johnson County District Attorney's Office. The girl admitted to threatening others, the police have said. The context of the conversation remains unclear, but the girl is now living in California, according to the Kansas City Star. The girl's grandfather, John Kavanaugh, told the Star the girl was simply mouthing off. Arrests of children have skyrocketed over the last decade. That's according to the latest statistics published by the FBI. The statistics, compiled from 2013 to 2018, revealed more than 30,000 children under the age of 10 have been arrested, averaging more than 6,000 kids per year. Equally disturbing is students 10 to 12 years of age, topped 266,000. Activists Post reports that in the past, students and children were disciplined with consequences such as timeout and paddling. But as more and more schools replace handling things internally with external police state options like school resource officers, children are ending up with arrest records and their fingerprints stored in databases. Often referred to as the school-to-prison pipeline, the principal players in the funneling of kids from school to jail are the school resource officers. What may seem like routine policing or modern-day policing methods to some, others see as a human rights violation, a slippery slope leading to a criminal life and a poor use of school resources. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
At Greyhound, we're committed to providing our customers with an exceptional travel experience, and that's why we've outfitted our 2014 line of motor coaches with new deluxe roadway seating that's moderately less disgusting than our traditional fare tickets. For a flat surcharge of $35, customers can upgrade to our exclusive deluxe seating area, where select seats have been refurbished with premium upholstery, boasting significantly less crumbs and Wendy's bags stuffed between the seats, guaranteed to leave you somewhat less repulsed than you are normally. Relax in the comfort that when your feet stick to the floor, they'll be sticking to up to 65% less indeterminate dried fluids. Passengers who upgrade to our elite seating experience will have the option of personalizing the garbage surrounding their seat with a pre-ride selection process, as well as a priority boarding feature where they'll be able to settle into their high-end motor coach accommodations without having to navigate through a crowd of inebriates, ex-convicts, and the morbidly obese. And from all of us at Greyhound, happy travels.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That number is 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
And Mark.
And we've been talking about Columbus. And evidently, San Francisco, to the surprise of no one, now marks Columbus Day as Indigenous Peoples Day and observed Italian Heritage Day on Sunday, as reported by the Sacramento Bee. According to the supervisor of the town, this is a shameful act of hatred and vandalism, said Supervisor Aaron Peskin, who represents the traditionally Italian-American neighborhood of North Beach, according to the San Francisco Examiner. Peskin called it the lowest form of behavior. Now,
so is this guy an actual Columbus fan? Because this is what I've had a very difficult time.
He is Italian.
Well, okay. I mean, Columbus was working for the Spaniards at the time.
He was.
The Habsburgs, who are no longer in power. I think they were the Habsburgs. That's my guess.
Well, it was Queen Isabel, wasn't it?
And yeah, King Ferdinand. But I think they were Habsburgs. I mean, these people got so inbred they could barely talk. I mean, I don't know.
Much like the American South.
Why I'm supposed to care. I've never met anybody who was inbred in the South. I can say I met people that got married at 14 and had false teeth by 20. So, hey, some of the stereotypes are true.
Sure, certainly. So the guy continues, I mean, we're here to celebrate our heritage, our beliefs, our background, and that's disgusting. I'm sorry, but that really offends me.
Here it is. Columbus Day is one of 10 federal holidays. So this is why Columbus Day is being defended. Columbus Day is being defended because shiftless government bureaucrats want the day off and they want to get paid for it. All right? If you want to celebrate indigenous people on Columbus Day, I'm with you. Let's go ahead and do that. If you want to celebrate Italian American Heritage Day on the day before, awesome. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't either.
Like, I have yet to meet this Columbus fan, this guy that thinks, I mean, he started the age of exploration. He was a man with vision. He certainly did not transcend the cultural norms of his time by, slavery is what I'm specifically talking about. He certainly brought some people into slavery and certainly was willing to use violence to get what he wanted. Brought out the swords in order to get what was convenient for him at the time. But
I mean, that's still
not
true
new.
today. I mean, none of that went away.
No, none of that's gone, and it's not specific to Italians, Spaniards, Europeans, people from the old world, the Eastern Hemisphere, the Western Hemisphere, or anything. Like, that's not specific. That's a human behavior. And if anything that you're upset about Columbus doing, you're upset about humans doing.
I would agree. Let's go to Earl from Texas, see what his opinion is. Earl, you're on Free Talk Live.
Happy Columbus Day. I love a good conversation about Christopher Columbus. Now these hoodlums out there messing up these statues of Christopher Columbus is just wrong. And Christopher Columbus, maybe not the best guy in the world, but he was the one to help discover with the Europeans.
Your volume cut out there.
What did you say? He did what?
He discovered America, and he was Italian, and I love Italian people. I worked for Italian people. I worked at a pizza shop before. I worked at an auto shop before for Italians, and they take very good pride in Christopher Columbus, and I ain't got no problem with Christopher Columbus.
Look, I'm married to an Italian, and I have never heard this Italians, have pride in Christopher Columbus. I could ask around. I haven't considered it.
You don't got pride in Christopher. I'm sorry. Christopher Columbus discovered America. How can you not like him? And
I think that's demonstrably false.
I would say rediscovered at the most.
Yeah, well, you never mention words. I mean, they still can't just go out and mess up these statues.
I'm with you that if the statue isn't yours, you shouldn't go defacing it.
What if it belonged to the state? What if these were government statues?
Well, it don't matter. It's not their statue. That's Christopher Columbus. You can't do that to Christopher Columbus.
Isn't it like literally their statue, though, if the government paid for it?
Well, if the government put it up for a reason, and if I put up a Christopher Columbus statue, the government, either way, it's not yours.
Well, let me ask you this. Is there anybody that they could put a statue up of that would be acceptable to deface?
Robert E. Lee, the godfather of the Civil American Southern War.
That's acceptable to deface or not acceptable?
Robert E. Lee's, is that 100% acceptable?
It would be acceptable to deface a Robert E. Lee statue?
No, to put one up.
Okay. Is there a statue out there of some person? Is there a person of which you could erect a statue that it would be acceptable to deface?
Maybe Hitler.
Hitler. Nobody likes that guy. That's for sure. I mean, if you make a list of him, he's way on the bottom of liked people. That much is true. Yeah. I can't imagine anybody putting one up. I don't know if there is a Hitler statue anywhere in the world, but I guess if somebody put up a private statue of Hitler, I would have to say that's their statue and you shouldn't deface it. But it's probably not going to go well.
Earl, thank you so much for the call. I would tend to agree that you can't deface statues when they belong to people, when they belong to ordinary individuals out there. If you want to erect a statue to Adolf Hitler, I don't agree with it, but I'm not going to destroy the statue that is literally your property. My question about the statue being built and maintained by the government, however, makes it the property of supposedly the people. Now, I recognize the people to be, as Max Stirner would have characterized it, a spook, a fictitious illusion, a construct that doesn't exist. It's an abstraction. There are only individuals out there, right? So this whole it belongs to the people thing is nonsense in the first place. What individual people does this statue belong to? According to the mythology around government and public property and all of this kind of nonsense, is that statue belongs to the people. And the people on Saturday night chose to deface that statue.
So a lot of statues that are on government property were put there by organizations. Right? So this gets complicated, right? So maybe the Italian American Club of San Francisco way back in 1961, pulls its money and says, who's the most famous Italian we can figure out that affects America? Christopher Columbus, right? So they come up, they pull their money.
They could have went with Al Capone.
I don't have a problem with that if that's what they wish to do. But people are wild about Al Capone memorabilia, by the way.
I bet.
Yeah. They're crazy about it. But if they put their money together and then just said, hey, I wonder if we can get the city to let us put this here, I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with them choosing to do that. And it's still sort of their statue. Do you get it?
I'm not sure I do. I think that if they were to put the statue that they paid for onto public property, that's essentially relinquishing ownership of it.
I think that effectively that's true, but I don't think any of them sat down and had a libertarian meeting with Murray Rothbard and understood that that's what they're doing.
Maybe they should have.
What they're saying is we're going to buy this statue of this great man who affected the United States and blah, 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 whatever awesome story they've got for themselves, and everybody's going to be happy. And it turns out they're not happy, right? They're not happy at all. And it was just intended to be a statue to celebrate being Italian and stuff, and it didn't work out that way. I can see this point of view. So I can, if it's the statue of the people, then it's acceptable for the people to tear it down. Then it's also acceptable for the people to stand near the statue and shoot anybody who defaces it. That's what public property would mean. Like, boom, another protest. Boom, boom, boom. How do you like that? There's a little protest. Protest that. I mean, that makes it effectively the same thing, right? 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live.
Do you want to shoot people who deface statues?
Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarist thinkers and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th, visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL.
With Fortune DNA, you can invest in anything you want to, 100% tax-free for you and your heirs, and use your money before you're 59 and a half, without ever losing your principal, all with the blessing of the IRS. Avoid the volatility of the market, put certainty back in your investing future, and keep full access to your money with Fortune DNA. Join us at dna.freetalklive.com for more details and your exclusive invitation to the free webinar on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Register now at dna.freetalklive.com.
Ike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com. The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Give us a call, talk about whatever is on your mind. That number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
And Mark.
And have you ever heard of Divvy? Divvy is crypto made easy. Anyone can use Divvy to secure and seamlessly spend, earn, store, or exchange digital money, the United States dollar and euros. Divvy is fast. Transactions happen in seconds with fewer fees. While other tokens are languishing, the Divvy's token price has increased 300%. And all of the details are available at divvyproject.org. That's DIVI project.org. The new Divvy mobile wallet is soon to launch, and when it does, because of Divvy's relationship with places like Western Union, Divvy will be available in 200 countries, including the United States. And anyone can use the Divvy mobile wallet. All you'll need is a phone number and a valid ID. You'll be able to store, buy, and transmit money anywhere in the world. Because they're invested in a remittance company, there's no chance of these services just suddenly going away. So go check it out. That's divvyproject.org. That's DIVI project.org. Now, Mark, evidently, one can indeed get a picture taken with a statue of Adolf Hitler.
Does a wax statue count?
I would say it counts.
Okay, so I got to see this thing, and I am, it's hilarious. So, I'm going to skip in the article.
It would have to be hilarious.
WashingtonPost.com. Bowing to international outrage, the museum has removed one historical wax figure from its menagerie of self-ready celebrity statues. Adolf Hitler. There's 200 of these statues, by the way. Not Adolf Hitler statues, but generally statues. Particularly a gallantly...
Wax statues are so weird to me, man. Like, why are human beings... Why are human beings doing this?
Making wax statues?
Yes.
Because people will pay money to see them.
Why? Why are human beings paying money to see wax statues?
I guess it's because they want to be closer to the thing that they find, something they find interesting, right?
Is it for, like, sculptors who can't sculpt stone?
Well, it's a lot easier to sculpt wax. You can probably do it much more quickly.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know.
I would also argue there's significantly less artistry involved. Never having
Many times
done
it doesn't really look like the person, to me, that they're sculpting.
the wax ones.
The wax ones, yeah. Many times it doesn't look that way.
I'm not surprised.
Particularly a gallantly posed Führer standing in front of a backdrop of the Auschwitz concentration camp.
Holy crap!
The pictures seen in
where was this from?
This is from WashingtonPost.com.
No, I mean what museum had a wax statue?
It's in Indonesia.
Okay.
And it's a whole bunch of words that I'm not entirely sure of. And the pictures of like a bunch of little Asian kids with their arms raised aloft next to Hitler in front of Auschwitz. Stunning.
By aloft, are they doing the Nazi
Oh, yes,
salute?
they are.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they are.
So it's a statue of Hitler doing the Nazi
No,
salute?
he looks more like Superman with his arms and it's to his side.
So they know enough about Hitler to tie him to the Nazi salute.
Sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you had a bunch of Americans, say, taking a picture with Mao, what would that look like? You know, like we don't have that relationship to Mao in the same way that, say we have a relationship with Hitler. Like Hitler is the worst guy you can talk about in history in
I mean, even though lots
Western
of people
Civ.
were worse, like Joseph Stalin, significantly worse. Mao.
I don't think you're allowed to say
significantly
that.
worse. Well, I'm saying it.
I'm just-
and screw the people who don't want me to be allowed to say it. I'm sorry. Murdering 25 million Christian farmers is worse.
So would you say
for
that the
whatever
United
it's
States
worse.
was wrong to enter World War II on the side of Stalin, thus supporting him sufficiently that he was able to, defeat the Germans
See,
and then
that's a
go
loaded-
on to murder more than 10 million of his own citizens? Would you say
That's a loaded question.
I don't think it's loaded. I'm going to come down and say it was wrong. Like, this is the consequences of actions.
Well, see, the circumstances should have never have existed, and they would never have existed if the United States hadn't entered World War I.
Agreed.
So that was.
But Americans know nothing about World War I because Saving Private Ryan was about World War II. And it was a really awesome movie. And it was a really awesome movie. But a lot of Americans believed that America got into World War II to stop the Nazis from killing Jews. And nothing, no statement could be farther from the truth.
Yeah, the American government knew about the concentration camps.
The American government
years
sent
ago.
the Jews back to die when they had the opportunity to take them. There was
They did
quite
indeed.
literally a ship of Jews begging for their lives, and FDR and the racist Americans that were in the country at the time. By the way, the same racist crap that they're trotting out about the Jews at the time, they're trotting out now against all kinds of other vilified groups. Same stuff. They wouldn't accept them. And those people, the vast majority of which died in concentration camps.
Absolutely, and it was the American governments who, in those cases, as you were outlining, sent them there. And the American government knew. The United Kingdom, the British government, they knew about the concentration camps, and they didn't care.
Or they wanted to use it as a way to get in, to have a little more support for the war. Certainly, Life magazine had taken plenty of pictures of some things that were going on, Kristallnacht and some things that were going on in Germany at the time, but much more could have been done. And think of what a really great place the United States would be had they accepted all those great minds that so many of the Jews were from Germany. I mean, how many Jews from Germany went on to get Nobel Prizes? How many of their children went on to get Nobel Prizes?
I don't know, but one of those was named Albert Einstein.
Sure.
And he was kind of a
salvaged.
big deal.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just him. I think it was Oppenheimer as well, and some others, all of whom, not all of whom, but many of whom came over and facilitated the creation of the Manhattan Project, which definitively, for better or worse, put an end to World War II and ushered in a new nuclear age.
So
what you're exactly right. What did we lose, aside from the actual cost of the human lives, by the decisions made by governments during the 20th century, decisions that they're still making today?
I want to go on and talk about this article from the Washington Post because I think this is some of the most ham-fisted, tone-deaf stuff I've ever heard. The idea of creating a Hitler statue, and then to see
I kind of want to do this now.
The reactions to it are hilarious. I do not, but I think it's amusing to see So it's amusing to see Westerners attempting to go and educate the Asians about how awful it is to create a wax statue of Hitler. I mean, like,
this is a conversation I never in my life thought I would have.
I never thought I would have it either.
So hold on. So by doing so, are they not impeding the cultural values of the Indonesians? Are they not colonizing Indonesia? In a sense?
I think I think they consider whatever they might be doing here acceptable because this is just so tone deaf, and it is tone deaf. I mean, this is ridiculous.
It is, but going back to it, if a museum in Indonesia wants a statue of Hitler in front of freaking Auschwitz, I'm just gonna say, okay, well, that's a dumb move.
Well, they had it for 4 years, and there's a lot of people that took a lot of pictures with Hitler.
That's not any better.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Divvy is crypto made easy. Anyone can use Divvy to securely and seamlessly spend, earn, store, or exchange digital money, the US dollar, and euros. Divvy is fast. Transactions happen in seconds with fewer fees. While other altcoins are languishing, the Divvy price has risen substantially against BTC. Now's the time to make a switch to Divvy or make your start with cryptocurrency with Divvy. Visit DivvyProject.org. Divvy is crypto made easy. Plus one-click masternodes. DivvyProject.org. Again, DivvyProject.org.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Does this ever happen to you? Moments after you're introduced to someone, you forget his or her name. It's a common faux pas you'll want to avoid, especially if you're a job seeker. And even if you're not, here's a tip. As you are being introduced, and while you're still shaking hands, smiling, and making eye contact, say the person's name aloud. Not only does that make a deposit in your memory bank, it acknowledges the other person. And that is more than a nuance, as is maintaining eye contact. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. Cutting through the clutter rather than blending into the blah, blah, blah will help you connect better no matter what the conversation. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Live video of our key New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Give us a call, 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
And Mark.
And where do you want to be in late February? How about Anarchapulco with Ron Paul, John
Acapulco
McAfee?
sounds good.
It does. It'll be much warmer there than it will be here in New Hampshire. Doug Casey, Freeway Rick Ross, Dale Bigtree, and lots of other big names. Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarist thinkers and activists held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state and central banks.
It's one of the biggest liberty events in the world.
It is. Enjoy 4 days among the sun and beaches of a world-class resort, February 13th through the 16th. Visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and get 10% off with the promo code FTL. That's anarchapulco.com, promo code FTL. It sounds like it's going to be an awesome event. I'm interested to see John McAfee is going to be there, because considering the last I heard about him was that he was sort of on the run for the law or whatever. So good for him.
I think it will be interesting to see if John McAfee actually shows up. He's a little shifty sometimes.
That's putting it kindly. So, do you want your picture taken with a wax statue of Adolf Hitler in front of a death camp?
Right, with the famous words, "Work will set you free," there from Auschwitz. This is insane, this story. I'd never heard it. This is not a news story. It's from 2017. They finally took down this wax statue after complaints. I guess it was up for almost 4 years. With grinning Asians taking pictures with Adolf Hitler out in front of the a picture, a background of Auschwitz.
That is really hard to process.
Everything about it is wrong. It's hard to find words for how contemptible it is, says Rabbi Abraham Cooper, Associate Dean of Simon's Wessenthal Center, which campaigns against anti-Semitism and Holocaust denial, told the Associated Press. The background is disgusting. It mocks the victims who went in and never came out. The outraged...
Question, would they be okay if people were taking selfies of just running up and giving Hitler the finger?
I am curious about that. The outraged claimed that the photo of Hitler, who had no business next to the infotainment depictions of Steve Jobs and a leather-clad Scarlett Johansson, and critics said the pictures that flooded people's social media accounts were an insult to the 6 million Jews who died in Hitler's concentration camps.
So you could go from the Scarlett Johansson exhibit directly to the Adolf Hitler exhibit.
So I'm curious about this part.
I'm curious about everything.
It's not like you can't find depictions of Joseph Stalin out there, right?
Sure. Aren't there still statues of him
in
Russia?
I'm guessing there are.
As well as
Pol Pot,
Lenin?
Mao.
No, Lenin's statues were destroyed by Stalin, in fact.
But Lenin's actually he's interred. There's his body. So you can go take a picture with Lenin himself if you wanted.
Can you like...
He's not posed.
Oh, man.
He's dead.
Well, that's no fun. What are embalmers for?
I'm sure there's statues of Lenin in existence. There are statues of every other great murderer that history has for you. I mean, every one of them. Julius Caesar still exists, right? And there's plenty of Europeans that are a little upset about Vercingetorix and that whole thing.
Talk about Italian history.
Right. So... these, you can find Genghis Khan, right? The largest killer of people in human history, from what we can tell. And
maybe
many
percentage-wise.
Chinese, and sheer numbers.
In sheer numbers, really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't think that the entire Earth population was 25 million at the time that Genghis Khan lived.
Rhodes, for miles were
Right.
slick with the fat of his victims.
Well, that's apocryphal.
No, it's literal. I mean, literal. They wiped out whole cities. Hundreds of thousands and millions of people died. No, go look it up. Genghis Khan's an amazing killer.
I'm not trying to argue with you because I don't know, but I just wouldn't
Right.
expect
I didn't know either. Yeah. This guy was incredible and spanned the globe, and had it not been for their really bad systems of changing power, they would have conquered all of Europe and Asia. Like the whole thing. And then perhaps on into Africa if it had been interesting to them. Like, they were incredibly effective at this point. Anyway, going on. I mean, you can find pictures of Genghis Khan. You very rarely will hear the
Genghis Khan
moaning.
is in the Civilization video games.
Yeah. And Hitler is not. But Bismarck is.
Hitler is certainly not. Although one of the first people to always be put in by someone modding the game is Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, sure.
Or Joseph Stalin. One of those two is
Stalin,
always the first.
I don't think he's. I don't think he's in there. But sure. I mean, these people wanted to conquer more of the globe. I mean, Napoleon's in there. It's not that long ago. A lot of Europeans pretty mad about Napoleon. So I think it's just sort of too soon when it comes to Hitler. There's still people walking around with the tattoos on their arms, like maybe a few of them, so
there's nothing funny about that.
No, certainly not. Ending up in a concentration camp is not a delightful thing.
No,
and these histories exist, and we have much better histories, right? Like somebody whose entire family was wiped out by Genghis Khan. There's just no written, oral, video history of that occurring. So it's going to take longer for the world to heal from Hitler because there's just not as because it's possible to become affected by it. Let me back that up with a statement. So there are journalists who have claimed PTSD over the conflicts that they've covered, in some cases covered and not even been present in, right? So you could potentially cover, say, what's a modern conflict? The Iraq conflict. It's a war, but the Congress of the United States hasn't declared war since 1942, so it wasn't that. So the Iraq war, not a war. But the Iraq conflict, you could potentially, if you looked at enough pictures, read enough accounts and these sorts of things, experience a sort of battle fatigue, PTSD kind of situation. And I believe this is totally true. Absolutely 100%
I don't doubt
believe
it at all.
I mean, the thing is that our media now is so effective and immersive and convincing that people can actually get PTSD from battles that they never saw. And that's amazing to me.
You mean that they didn't see firsthand?
Right, they didn't see firsthand. They didn't experience. I don't even know what the terms to use, right? They saw and experienced it. You're right. They did see and they did experience it because the media is so effective. When you
I don't know if that's a positive thing or a negative thing,
Yeah. When you saw that kid and the news guy blown up by U.S. helicopters by mistake, I imagine you had a visceral reaction to it. Certainly. Or you're a psychopath. And maybe you felt, as an American, you felt some responsibility for it. Or maybe you felt defensive. Whatever it is that you felt surrounding it, it's much more than you likely feel as far as some responsibility for, I don't know, the loyalists being beaten up by the revolutionaries in the Revolutionary War. And probably you don't think about that very much.
Yeah, because we don't have video of that happening. It's something I've never given any consideration to. I mean, sure, I know it was a thing that happened, but I didn't see it with my own eyes in the way that I did see the murder of the journalists. You're referring to what Chelsea Manning leaked, right?
Right, that was the Chelsea Manning leak. I want to tell you about this, the marketing officer from this museum, and what he had to say, because it's interesting.
It's almost brilliant marketing. Not saying
I've never heard of this wax museum before this.
That's true. Maybe they should have kept it. I'm not saying it's a good idea, but if they're motivated by financial concerns, well, having a statue.
They should have sold the statue to somebody who wanted to get rid of it.
855-450-3733. Would you take a picture with a wax statue of Adolf Hitler? Let us know.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA, or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits, at mypatriotsupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at mypatriotsupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. mypatriotsupply.com.
This is George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM and History Channel's Ancient Aliens, and we're proud to promote amazing energy, nutrition, and skincare products from Jeunesse. Visit gcnlife.com for products like Luminesse. The Luminesse anti-aging skincare line restores youthful vitality and radiance to your skin, reducing the appearances of fine lines and wrinkles with stem cell technology. There's also Instantly Ageless, which works within 2 minutes, reducing under-eye bags, fine lines, wrinkles, and pores. Jeunesse has products to help you with how you look and feel in a very short time. Nobel-nominated Dr. Vincent Jampapa has designed several products helping the body perform better. Jeunesse products have a 30-day money-back guarantee, and they're available up to a 25% preferred price discount. See all of the amazing Jeunesse products at gcnlife.com or call toll-free 1-844-443-6637, 1-844-443-6637.
Free Talk Live.
I was a pedestrian and an asinine cop backed up and hit me and knocked me down to the ground. And I said, I think we need to call the police as I'm, screaming in pain. And he said, go ahead, I'm a cop too. And he left the scene of the accident.
Oh, wow.
So when the police and the ambulance and all the paramedics arrived to take me to the hospital because I have knee damage now and need knee replacements to both knees because of his actions. And I told him, I said, I'm a registered nurse. I work drug and alcohol rehab. This guy was drunk. I could see it. I could tell by his his actions. He was drunk. And I said, I want a blood alcohol done on him. They knew who he was. They waited 6 hours to go to his home to arrest him. And of course, by then he had sobered up.
Sure. Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern. Live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. So call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That number is 855-450-3733. With you tonight is Aria.
And Mark.
And I want to tell you about LibertyCon. It's a unique Liberty convention, April 3rd through the 5th in Washington, D.C. for people who want to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. Hear from a list of incredible speakers such as John Mackey, Whole Foods CEO and co-founder, who will speak on conscious capitalism. Vernon Smith, who won the Nobel Prize in Economics and will speak on alternative markets. Miriam Issa, Nassim Nicholas Taleb, who spent 21 years as a risk taker, a quantitative trader, before becoming a researcher in philosophical, mathematical, and practical problems with probability. Dude, I want to meet him. And there's still more. So visit libertycon.com for more details on additional speakers and events and use the code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. Student travel scholarships are available and discount rooms for everyone at the Marriott Marquis. Save with early registration at libertycon.com and use the coupon code FTL. Use the code FTL for a $10 discount. Sounds like an interesting event. Certainly some really intelligent people going to be speaking there. And it's always worth hearing really intelligent people
I'm excited to go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Let's get into the phones here. We got Alan calling from New York. Alan, you're on Free Talk Live. Are you still with us, Alan?
I wanted to answer the question. I'd take it with a flamethrower.
Yeah. A for effort, as usual. Getting right back into the story about getting one's picture taken with Hitler. Evidently, there's some people who were really upset that the statue even existed in the first place, much less was available for people to take their, picture with it.
It's the most disturbing image has to be these young Asian kids with their arms held aloft in the Nazi salute here behind the Auschwitz, in front of the Auschwitz sign next to a wax figure of Hitler. I'm very surprised at this. I hadn't heard of it or seen it, and I'm with James there that this is not acceptable. Now, I wouldn't go destroying these people's property. It's theirs, right? They own it. And let's go with their side of it, right? So Warley, the museum's marketing officer, who goes by one name, defended the waxwork to the Associated Press. He said he knew Hitler was a historical figure responsible for mass murder, but since his statue went on display in 2014, the work was one of the favorite figures for our visitors to take selfies with.
Shocking. Well, didn't Time make Hitler the person of the century for the 20th century?
Maybe they did, and it probably would be, like he was certainly an important figure in the 20th century.
He was probably the most influential person, the most influential single person of the 20th century.
No visitors complained about it, he said. Most of our visitors are having fun because they know it's just an entertainment museum. The just entertainment aspect of similar depictions of Hitler and his Nazi regime is something that has vexed historians and activists for years. Some worry that distancing historical figures from their atrocities, essentially turning them into caricatures and cartoon characters, is the first step towards repeating the mistakes of the past. And I'm not sure that I can see that, but okay. In a Q&A with the Connecticut Jewish Ledger, Gavriel Rosenfeld, the author of Hi Hitler, that is just too lighthearted, by the way, warned that similar Hitler and neo-Nazi-based displays normalize the Nazi legacy. The internet, above all, is the medium that really focuses on Hitler as a completely decontextualized, dehistoricalized figure. We can draw a Hitler mustache on anything or a swastika on anything and start laughing at it. When Hitler himself is photoshopped into the form of various other characters, we get into something really bizarre phenomenon.
I don't know that
cats that look like Hitler.
He's wrong. Hitler has certainly been removed from the context of his actual crimes when you have people saying that, all Republicans are Hitler. Donald Trump is literally Hitler.
Right.
Because it's always literally Hitler. You just about can't say it.
Without saying literally?
Yeah, even though he quite clearly is not literally Hitler.
Yeah. Right, like other can't be literally Hitler. Literally Hitler is dead.
But millennials literally don't know what the word literally means.
Literally, they don't. So I just don't know. I mean, when you decide, you don't get to control the meme. So you create the meme that Hitler is important and bad. And that's a good idea to create that meme. Pogroms, bad. I'm with you. Not decontextualizing that at all. However, once the meme is created, then you don't get to control how it's going to be. Like, people are going to internalize this and the way they're going to internalize it or whatever. And I'm sorry.
Well, the whole birth of the word meme was from Richard Dawkins, the biologist, who characterized them as, these social things that tend to take on a life of their own.
Sure.
They grow and they change, they evolve, just like genes, which is how he ended up, forming the word. He wanted something that sounded similar to the word genes.
So you get memes?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, I mean, once that meme is out there, it is out of your control, man.
Yeah, I just don't. I'm not.
And Hitler was always prime material to be turned into a meme, for better or worse.
Right. Genocides have existed, but it seems to be important to many times Jews, and I am, to some extent, would be considered a Jew, right? Like, I'm not entirely Jew, but part Jew. It seems to be very important to Jews to make sure that this is the most important genocide we ever talk about. I mean, I've been called a Nazi sympathizer by a Jew for simply saying that I felt that the colonization of the New World was probably a more historically significant and greater atrocity than the Jewish pogrom committed by the Nazis in the late 30s and early 40s.
And I don't want to go all out there with it, but I could certainly understand why the Jewish people, if indeed they do take that position.
I'm not sure. Jewish people don't take a position.
They find it to be advantageous because it was the Holocaust that made it unacceptable to even say the word Jew in modern society.
Is it unacceptable to say Jew?
It almost is.
Okay.
Even referencing someone as being Jewish can be enough to get you called anti-Semitic and compared to Hitler.
Huh. Well, I haven't experienced that, but I'm sure people call me anti-Semitic because I don't agree entirely with every aspect of the Israeli government. End of story, right?
It's the same thing. The reason you can't criticize Israel today is because of the propaganda benefits that were wrought by the Holocaust.
Yeah, I think that there's, to some extent, this is a true statement. I mean, I don't want it to be true, but it's true. And that, let's say, but I will say this.
Wasn't
in defense,
it Bush who said never let a good tragedy go to waste?
Sure.
Well, the Jewish people have not allowed the Holocaust to go to waste.
Some.
Yes.
But I would also say this. Had the education not occurred, then there might be an argument that some pogrom might exist in the future.
And pogrom means what?
Pogrom is basically a genocide against Jews in a local area.
Which is deplorable. Should not be allowed, should not be tolerated.
Yeah, and history's replete with them. There's quite a few of them. It's not like this was the only one that ever went. Most effective, but not the only one that went on. And so I can see that there's a point at which one should, to which one should point this out, right? Like, it's important to say, hey, look, over here, we're the Jews, and, y'all have tried to kill us for some period of time, and let's stop that, okay? We want to integrate, and, everything's great, right? Whereas at some point, there's a point when it's just like, can we stop talking about this? And I can see both sides. I really can.
I don't disagree. It is important, I think, to recognize these things. But, as we're talking about, the Holocaust, this is doing nothing about the concentration camps in the United States right now, where, people from South America are being held against their will. So what is the point in focusing on the Holocaust almost exclusively if we're not going to use it as a motivating factor and immediately shutting down?
Because we're not getting pictures out of the ones that are in the United States.
Right, which is all the more alarming.
Sure. As U.S. citizens, as the government, we're told that we, the people, are the government. As the government, should we not have information about our concentration camps? Now, I don't believe any of this. By the way, this propaganda that we are the government. Right. We are not the government, and we don't have concentration camps. But those that rule us would have us believe that we are the government and that we, that we're responsible in some way, and we're not.
No, absolutely not. We have no responsibility for these atrocities, and we couldn't stop them if we wanted to.
Nope.
855-450-3733. What do you think about the American concentration camps and its roots in the Holocaust? 855-450-3733.
I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale, totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,488, silver at $17.54, and Bitcoin is trading around $8,238. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, bump stock owners aren't complying with an illegal federal ban approved through an unconstitutional bureaucratic process via the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. According to the Washington Times, only 1,000 bump stocks were collected in the run-up to the March deadline. There are between 280,000 to 520,000 bump stocks in circulation, according to the Justice Department. Activist Post reports that the feds would have to replicate that same rate of the collection either 280 or 520 times in order to recover all the remaining bump stocks, and that's assuming more devices are not secretly manufactured and sold in the meantime. To comply with the bump stock ban would be to merely encourage further confiscation efforts, but the lack of compliance makes it obvious that the policy is unpopular and will be expensive to enforce. Refusal to turn over the bump stocks is nullification in effect on an individual level. Hundreds of thousands of people are simply saying, quote, "We will not comply," end quote. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A 13-year-old Overland Park, Kansas girl was arrested last month and charged with a felony after police say her classmates claim she made a gun-like hand gesture at multiple students. The Mind Unleashed reports the girl, a student at Westridge Middle School, flashed the finger gun at 4 fellow students and then toward herself September 18th. After her classmates asked her which 5 people in the classroom she would kill. That's according to Overland Park Police Chief Frank Donches. The student, who remains unidentified due to laws protecting her privacy, was arrested and charged the day following the incident for threatening a mass shooting, according to the Johnson County District Attorney's Office. The girl admitted to threatening others, the police have said. The context of the conversation remains unclear, but the girl is now living in California, according to the Kansas City Star. The girl's grandfather, John Kavanaugh, told the Star the girl was simply mouthing off. Arrests of children have skyrocketed over the last decade. That's according to the latest statistics published by the FBI. The statistics, compiled from 2013 to 2018, revealed more than 30,000 children under the age of 10 have been arrested, averaging more than 6,000 kids per year. Equally disturbing is students 10 to 12 years of age, top 266,000. Activists Post reports that in the past, students and children were disciplined with consequences such as timeout and paddling. But as more and more schools replace handling things internally with external police state options like school resource officers, children are ending up with arrest records and their fingerprints stored in databases. Often referred to as the school-to-prison pipeline, the principal players in the funneling of kids from school to jail are the school resource officers. What may seem like routine policing or modern-day policing methods to some, others see as a human rights violation, a slippery slope leading to a criminal life and a poor use of school resources. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
From that romantic summer evening in 1924 when Pol Pot was conceived, to the first time someone figured out how to eat a pineapple without ripping their mouth to shreds. This week in history, 1692, 5 citizens were executed after being convicted during the Salem witch trials, all while dozens of witches, warlocks, and sorcerers stood by and watched the wrongly accused take the rap for them, while the perfectly normal humans charged with witchcraft were publicly hung and dragged to their unmarked graves. The numerous Salem citizens that did spend their evenings casting spells and awakening the dead merely lowered their heads as their friends and neighbors were burned at the stake.
Historical records have indicated that as many as 35% of the people in Salem were actually witches and warlocks. In fact, the executioner himself was a well-known necromancer who, after hanging the wrongly accused witches, reanimated their dead bodies and apologized before casting them into the eternal fires of hell.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and you can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That number is 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
And Mark.
And the subject of the show, by and large, has been genocide and various genocides throughout, human history, because they're certainly not a new thing. The first one was not the Holocaust, and it certainly wasn't the last one, regrettably. And there are various monuments, shrines, testaments, both in tribute to these people who executed these crimes and against these people who committed these crimes. Like you have praising monuments, as you mentioned, of people like Genghis Khan and Joseph Stalin throughout the world today. And evidently you had one in Indonesia of Adolf Hitler made out of wax that wasn't necessarily being done to praise him, but the way people treated it they didn't take it terribly seriously. Not surprising that people from Indonesia aren't taking the guy who committed, some form of genocide many thousands of miles away terribly seriously. They just don't have the relationship to it. Well, even if we had such a statue here in the United States, I would not be at all surprised by people who went to take selfies with it. I would almost certainly do so, but I'm a troll at heart. And it seemed like that would be a really good way to troll large numbers of people easily.
Right. And I think that what we've come to is that this is a world where it is acceptable to create a statue or a monument, might not be the right term, a depiction of any mass murderer in history who has done any terrible thing. Like, you pick the terrible thing. You could make the second most hated person in America, maybe Jeffrey Dahmer. Right? Like, there's another, like, if you were going to say, like, we have to have hell because we have to be able to send 2 people to it, those 2 people could very well be Hitler and Jeffrey Dahmer.
Well, yeah, but according to the Christian mythology, Hitler's not going to hell anyway.
Look, I don't want to discuss that part. But many Christians believe Hitler is going to hell.
Well, they're wrong.
Okay. And so Jeffrey Dahmer, there's probably a wax statue of this guy someplace on the planet, and I bet you there's people taking selfies with it. It's what we've pointed out here, and I think it's just so, is that somehow the propaganda machine, the contra propaganda machine that kicked in post World War II managed to make it unacceptable to create a depiction of Hitler.
Yes.
At least a depiction of Hitler that isn't comical. So this guy here in this article here is complaining about comical depictions of Hitler, sort of taking away the bite of Nazism or whatever. He says so-called Nazi normalization has sparked an outcry before in Indonesia, which has the largest Muslim population in the world and a minuscule Jewish population. A Nazi-themed cafe in the city of Bandung, where
Holy
waiters
crap.
wore replicas of SS uniforms.
Okay, so Indonesians, just nuts.
Tone deaf, I think is the best term I want to use here. Caused anger abroad for several years until reportedly closing its doors at the beginning of this year.
A Nazi cafe.
I went to a place called Red Square in Nevada some years ago, and you could dress up in old, Soviet uniforms, just put the big furry hat on your head and put the coat over. They'd send a hot gal in with you to take shots off of a block of ice that contained Lenin's head in bronze. The whole thing. I don't even know what I think about this, but I can tell you,
way too much
I drank a lot of vodka
there.
off the top of Lenin's head, and I had a wonderful time. I've got some good pics of this.
There's way too much to unpack there for me to know how I feel about that.
Right. I mean, the thing,
I'm not sure where to start.
And it's sort of the what is too soon and what is your cultural relationship to this thing or that thing. The cultural relationship that the United States has to Hitler is significantly different than the cultural relationship the United States has to Lenin. Perhaps it shouldn't be, but it is.
So back to the question I asked earlier, if there was a way that people could take a selfie with Hitler in some way that was clearly mocking him or demeaning him, would that be okay? Like if it was Hitler's head on a pike or whatever and people were taking shots of alcohol of it, would they be okay with me, a trans person, giving a picture of Hitler the middle finger while saying, "You lost"? Would they be okay with that?
Probably. I mean, I wonder.
I think the context is important.
This wax statue. Okay, so first off, let's talk about solutions to this. If you don't like the wax statue of Hitler, I don't like the wax statue of Hitler. The question is, how much do you not like it? Because I don't care if somebody has a minor opinion about something.
See, this is where the troll thing within my whole generation starts to really show itself. I'm okay with the statue of Hitler, and I dislike the statue of Hitler. I would take a selfie with it to be funny because I dislike the statue of Hitler, and because the shock effect of it, it's valuable.
I think that it's tone deaf, but I understand what they're doing and whatever.
Indonesia definitely tone deaf.
To me, what it's about is what is the value for you? Because somebody on the planet finds this statue so repugnant that they'd be willing to spend $1 million to take it down. And that person should be able to buy that statue from that museum and melt it or
if the museum is
hang
willing
it
to
in
sell
effigy
it.
or whatever. And that's what they should be willing. That should be, well, honestly, the problem with this, with my method, but this is what I think they should be able to do. The problem with my method is that the museum then, if you're willing to pay $1 million, then pays another $20,000 to get another replica of Hitler made. And perhaps in Indonesia, we're talking $2,000. I don't know. Replica of Hitler created and then begins to sell replicas of Hitler at $1 million a piece.
See, I'm okay with all of this.
Westerners.
Hey, if you can exploit someone's irrational response to a thing, exploit their emotional response.
Well,
by
at
all
least they
means.
understand that it's irrational. I do like when people understand that they're irrational, but what they're doing is they're attempting to stop this behavior. By shaming everybody and making their culture, like, you see, the thing is it's completely acceptable to say, oh, you Americans are ruining everybody's culture. You're trying to get you to learn English and genes and your sexual lifestyles and all those things that people complain about, probably legitimately, about the United States and the spread of its culture. However, the spread of the United States' culture surrounding its beliefs around Hitler is not questioned for a second. The way that we may go over, run over Indonesians' tone deafness surrounding genocide in Western Europe, that's okay. And you're either against cultural dominance or you're not. And that's what this is. It's a cultural dominance.
Yeah, I mean, especially if it was the case, and I don't know if it is or isn't, but if it is the case that the people of Indonesia, they value the representation of historical figures for all reasons. If it was just part of their culture to look back at past figures and, I don't want to say idolize them, but that's essentially what it is when you
Look
make
at
a
them.
statue of someone.
It's an idol.
Yeah.
This restaurant was called the Solden Cafe or whatever, named after a restaurant in Paris that was popular with occupying Nazi soldiers. Hitler portraits and Nazi flags adorned the walls in the Indonesian restaurant. The cafe's owner insisted to the Daily Mail that he wasn't a neo-Nazi and said to the cafe's website that it explored Hitler and the Nazis as pop culture.
Yeah, it does sound kind of like it is just part of Indonesian culture to treat the Nazis as though they weren't significant. And by what right does Western society then go, no, you have to treat them this way that we say?
Chinese still consider Genghis Khan to be significant and evil. And
Really?
should.
Well, yeah. 855-450-3733. What do you think about this whole thing? 855-450-FREE.
Warning, this is a privacy alert. You are being spied on right now as I speak by your phone. If you want this to stop, visit GoDarkBags.com and we'll show you how elite military units protect themselves and how you can too. GoDark Bags are lab tested and guaranteed for life. Visit GoDarkBags.com now and enter discount code FTL to save 15%. That's GoDarkBags.com. Discount code FTL. Your privacy depends on it. End transmission.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico-Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico-Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico-Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced 6-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years. years with experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Call in and talk about whatever is on your mind using our toll-free number of 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
And Mark.
So if you take my advice and you go to local.bitcoin.com and buy some Bitcoin Cash, you may end up wondering, where do I put this cryptocurrency now? Well, I would recommend the Edge wallet. It's the Edge wallet that I use. It's available for both iOS and Android. And it can be used to directly buy, sell, trade, and securely hold cryptocurrencies. It's all user-controlled. You own your own money. There's none of that crap with 14-word, recovery phrases or any of that nonsense. It uses a username and password system that, as long as you remember those two pieces of information, you can log into the Edge wallet on any device without having to go, oh no, which one of these 14-word passphrases belongs to this particular wallet. There's none of that. It's got support for Bitcoin Core, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Stellar, and so many more. Their tagline is secure your freedom. So go to edge.app to find out more about it, and go to the Google Play or iOS stores and download it directly. It's a wonderful wallet, and it's being used here in Keene by homeless people to make cryptocurrency purchases, which is only possible because of the Edge wallet. It's amazing. It's a great wallet.
It's in my opinion, the best one out there.
It is by far the best one out there. So again, go check it out. That's the Edge wallet. Now, in keeping with the story of genocide and various wrongdoings by government, and in keeping with the general theme, as I've noticed, China has been mentioned quite frequently on Free Talk Live within the past few months because there's a lot happening right there. In fact, we talked about them last week with South Park and China. And of course, I don't know if it was mentioned here on the air, but South Park did in fact respond to their ban by the Chinese government. I can't tell you how they responded, but you'll have to go watch that episode to find out for yourself. But they responded in the way that you would expect South Park to behave. They didn't respond the way that Blizzard responded or Activision responded. They didn't respond the way the NBA responded.
Like a little servile, cow-towing...
Yeah, South Park did
wussy.
Exactly what you would expect South Park to, and it was glorious.
Yeah, they gave it was a middle finger, but a nicely polished middle finger, like a really good one.
Yes, it was. So, getting back into Hong Kong and what's going on there, Chinese President, what is that, Xi Jinping?
Xi Jinping, yeah.
Warned adversaries on Sunday that any attempt to split China will
Xi Jinping is what we're going with.
Okay. Will end in crushed bodies and shattered bones, according to state media.
Say that all again one more time for me. I was thinking about Winnie the Pooh. Go ahead.
Yes. Well, President Xi Jinping warned adversaries on Sunday that any attempt to split China will end in crushed bones and crushed bodies.
Who are the
shattered
adversaries,
bones.
and what are we talking about splitting China?
Well, we're going to get further into that.
Okay.
It's in the article. According to state media's anti-government protesters in Hong Kong returned to the streets for a 19th consecutive weekend. So this has been going on for a very long time. Although Winnie the Pooh didn't explicitly name Hong Kong in his comments, his references to separatists and external forces.
Better. Winnie the Ping. That
Winnie
is
the Ping.
much
Yes.
better.
Okay, perfect. Echoed previous language used by Beijing when talking about protests in the semi-autonomous Chinese city. Anyone attempting separatist activities in any part of China will be crushed, and any external force backing such attempts will be deemed by the Chinese people as pipe dreaming, said Winnie the Ping during a state visit to Nepal, according to the state news agency. So demonstrations continued in Hong Kong on Sunday, but they were smaller than in previous weeks and appeared to portend a shift to more guerrilla-style tactics. Now, what they're largely referring to with these external forces, for those who haven't been keeping up, is sort of the United States, because there are attempts to use what's happening in Hong Kong between Trump and the Chinese government as a negotiating tactic.
Right.
You also have Senators Ted Cruz and someone else going to Hong Kong and outright voicing their support for the Hong Kong protesters.
I support the Hong Kong protesters.
I wholeheartedly support
I don't
them.
know if I wholeheartedly. These aren't libertarians.
They're not, but
this is not a personal freedom protest. But, you know, it's better than what they got.
Yes. So groups
also, it's worth pointing out that you know, the Hong Kong is the freest place on the planet when it comes to sort of economic freedoms.
Is that still the case?
Still the case.
Okay.
Taiwan is interestingly giving them a run, moving way up the charts very quickly. But Singapore is number 2, has been for a long time. Not necessarily when it comes to personal freedoms in Singapore, but certainly economic freedoms.
So the majority of protests are still peaceful, but the number of violent incidents has risen as the unrest has dragged on. During a press conference Monday, a police spokesperson said that officers had uncovered an improvised explosive device on Sunday night on Nathan Road, one of the city's busiest thoroughfares.
So IEDs being found. This Chinese protest is not nonviolent. It's mostly been non-lethal from what I've been able to say, at least from the protesters' side.
Well, when you're protesting a tyrannical regime,
people are going to get passionate.
I'm not opposed to using violence against those who would enforce that regime. Not innocent bystanders, but yes, if they're sending in the military and the police to crush your protests for, you know,
fighting back against
autonomy, then you have to actually fight back against them.
I think that it's, well, I don't know if you have to. I'm going to say that
you don't have to.
It's morally acceptable.
Yes.
The question is...
It may not be strategically smart.
It may not be. Right? Like one of the things the Gandhi had was he had a lot of people that were willing to, like, quite literally take lumps on the head, get pounded in the head in order to, but still not use violence to get what they wanted. And I don't think I could do it. Like, I'd have to use some kind of force to defend myself. if that's what it is. And, if they're trying to drive everybody off the streets and to silence the protests, well, what do? I don't know what you do.
I don't either. But violence in Hong Kong has become more acute since the city's leader, Carrie Lam, used colonial-era emergency powers to ban citizens from wearing masks at public gatherings earlier this month. On Sunday, protesters...
And don't forget that mask wearing is very cultural in Hong Kong and China, generally Asia, because people don't want to spread illnesses to each other. It's considered polite.
Do those count as masks for the purpose of this? Wow.
Yep.
On Sunday, however, protesters dressed in black vandalized and set fire to government facilities, subway stations, and shops deemed to be pro-China. Now, this goes back to what you were saying. That's certainly violence. There may have been no casualties, but setting fire to buildings, subway stations, and shops, that's violence.
Mm-hmm.
That's destruction of property.
It's true.
Several of these incidents were caught on video, including one showing what appears to be a protester stabbing an officer in the neck.
Oh, my.
With what police called a sharp-edged object. A group of protesters was also filmed attacking a lone officer in riot gear, with one delivering a jump kick to the neck. There's
it's hard
more
to pull
about
off a jump kick.
It is, and especially to someone's neck. There's more about this, more about China and what's happening there. So don't go anywhere. This is Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Do you want to join the ultra-wealthy by using a 160-year-old investing program that is no longer exclusive? Keep your funds fluid and 100% tax-free for you or your heirs with no contribution limits and without ever losing your principal with Fortune DNA. Learn how to avoid the volatility of the market and put certainty back into your investing future. Join us at dna.freetalklive.com for more details and your exclusive invitation to the free webinar on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Register now at dna.freetalklive.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? bankrupt governments, and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Call in to talk about whatever is on your mind. That number's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
And Mark.
And you know, a few weeks ago, we did a new thing for Free Talk Live. We hosted a webinar. And by all accounts, it was awesome. I enjoyed doing it. Roger Paxton actually hosted it with Chris Ann of Liberty First University.
I would call it an unqualified success. I mean, it was really great.
Yeah, and it's tremendously fascinating to watch because Chris Ann, she's a very passionate, very excited, dynamic person. And Roger had to say almost nothing to keep her going. It's hard to talk solidly for about an hour. Even
on a topic, yeah.
Yeah, even on a subject that you're intensely passionate about. But she pulled it off. She nailed it. She was never boring at any moment.
No.
And she was knowledgeable. She knew
She
everything.
also handled a lot of libertarian thoughts on the Constitution.
She did.
And I don't know if I made a 180 in my opinion on the Constitution, but my opinion has changed.
She improved my opinion of the Constitution, I would say, but it's still not a document that I consented to, so I don't recognize its authority.
But she does point out that there's no particular reason for you to have consented. The Constitution is a compact between states, organizations, so there's really no binding on the people themselves.
Well, but there is one between the state constitutions and the people of those states.
Yes.
So, and I never consented.
But this
to
wasn't
that
a class
either.
on the New Hampshire State Constitution, which is
fair point.
Would be interesting.
What is it a class on, though? You might be curious. You can watch it at lfu.freetalklive.com. That's LFU, like Liberty First University. .freetalklive.com. It's really awesome. You can find a link there to the YouTube video. It's great. Go check it out. It's an excellent way to spend an hour. So, speaking of excellent ways to spend time, evidently in Hong Kong, everybody was kung fu fighting with police officers now being kicked in the neck.
Flying jump kick.
To the neck. Which, as you pointed out,
not easy to pull that off.
It is not. So I'm picturing Mortal Kombat style jump kick just soaring.
Fatality.
But before we get back into the story of Hong Kong, let's get into the phones. We got Olivia calling from Arizona. Olivia, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, I wanted to make a comment about Columbus Day and honoring all these horrific people. But first, I just wanted to make a comment about masks and not preventing diseases or not spreading diseases. I knew a school teacher who refused to buy Kleenexes for the classroom. They made a hole in a box and just had the kids put a roll of toilet paper from the bathroom in there, and that was the Kleenex. But instead, the teacher would buy those little blue masks from Walmart, and they'd be like, if you are sick, please put on one of these disposable masks. You don't have to wear it anywhere else. You can throw it away when you leave, but please just don't breathe the germs in the room. I thought that was kind of a neat idea.
So,
you know, when I was at the DMV last week, I had to go for stupid reasons, but when I was there, I was sitting next to this guy who, in the course of my 3.5-hour wait, applied sanitizer to his hands at least 35 times. At least. Every few minutes, he was reaching over there and hitting the sanitizer.
That is probably a neurosis.
You think so?
Yes.
Well, I know there's a lot to be said about, restricting one's interactions with various viruses and bacteria, inhibiting one's immune system.
So I'm not going to comment on that. I think that there's, it's only valuable in so much as you don't get yourself sick, right? Once you get sick, then you have gone too far with trying to expose yourself to all these varieties of infections in order to prevent infections. Like, whoops, missed up on that one. But most illnesses that we deal with on a day-to-day basis come from contact. If not contact with a person, contact with a thing that a person recently touched that's ill.
Certainly. So, Olivia, what
so
were your
a mask
thoughts?
Isn't particularly effective. I mean, yes, it's effective if you have it over your mouth and you sneeze at somebody and the mask catches the projectile infectious spittle. Yes, that's good.
Well,
but
interestingly, the Mythbusters studied this at using dye and stuff like that. It was really fascinating to see the results. But if you're not consciously, deliberately avoiding contact with people and they're sick, you're going to get sick. So, Olivia, what were your thoughts on Columbus?
Oh, I think that was they used the masks just during like flu season. It was that the kids would breathe in the teacher's face. I think it was just to keep from But the thoughts on Columbus, the Oatmeal is a web comic, and they did a really good job of explaining like an alternative to Christopher Columbus. There is a friar or a priest named Bartolome de las Casas, I think, and who was a great humanitarian. I don't know. I think it's weird that we sit there and honor these really brutal, horrific people and don't really mention. I don't know. It's just a strange way of like brainwashing when we have good alternatives.
It is. I mean, we have lots of people now who idolize Che Guevara.
Right.
The rebel in, I think it was Cuba, I don't remember, but he was homophobic. He was just a horrible, horrible person. And it's like, why are you idolizing this guy? Gandhi is literally right there.
Right? It's crazy. So, I don't know. I think it's weird, too, that people feel like that's anti-white. If somebody had a holiday to King Edward Longshanks, the Hammer of the Scots, I would be pretty offended. I would think that was pretty weird. I think it's weird that Andrew Jackson is still on the 20 when they were going to change it to Harriet Tubman. Like, why didn't they do that? Because Andrew Jackson was a horrible, horrible statist. Why?
They all were.
He was he's against the central bank.
Yes, he would be appalled to know that his portrait was on the note of a central bank.
Yeah.
Which sort of makes me feel better about his being there, considering the atrocities that he did commit.
Jackson had guts. I'll give him that.
Well, it takes more than guts to earn my respect.
I mean, as far as personality goes and having it, you line up the presidents. He had a lot more than most of them.
That's true. Den of Thieves, the Vipers, all of that. He certainly had.
I'm not defending, the Trail of Tears or any of this sort of unconstitutional stuff that Jackson did. By the way, as seventh president, what was constitutional and what was not constitutional was still much more up in the air back then. But yeah, I mean, I got to say, as a historical figure, he's far enough in the past that I like him.
I don't know. I can't support. He did too much stuff.
Oh, I don't support it.
Awful. He was a horrible person.
Yep.
But yeah, I like these protests on Columbus Day because it does make you sit there and it does make you open a history book and start to try to get to the root of it. And it does make you question, who are we holding up as examples? Who are we sitting there and honoring? And then finding hopefully positive alternatives. If not, the federal holidays changing, then at least for your own personal self. I like how it draws attention to people changing their own viewpoint. I like that.
I like that as well. It's good when phrased that way. I would love for Columbus Day to actually stick around and perhaps just turn into. I mean, if federal workers want the day off, fine, give them the day off, but make it Gandhi Day. Make it a day of someone who wasn't a jerk.
He's just the guy you like. And people can. The problem with human beings is none of them are perfect.
was not perfect either.
Right. None of them are perfect. And as soon as you make it Gandhi Day, then somebody's going to trot out that he slept with young women that were too young to consent or something. It all gets very odd.
It does, but as you were saying, it's because no one is perfect, and I mean that's a good argument against having these sort of days where we commemorate people in the first place.
Well, what do we have days? When do we get days off then?
When we want them. Every federal employee get 10 guaranteed days off a year. Take them when you want. Problem solved, right? 855-450-3733. What do you think about federal holidays? Are they worth it?
Do the letters IRS give you anxiety? I'm Dan Pilla. I've defended people from the IRS for more than 40 years. My book, How to Get Tax Amnesty, created the tax resolution industry and is responsible for helping hundreds of thousands of people. It can help you too. If you're a non-filer or facing IRS enforcement right now, your case is unique. You need real help, not cookie-cutter advice. My clients get my personal attention. Buy my book at danpilla.com and get a free consultation directly with me. That's danpilla.com. Let's start solving your tax problem right now.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right away. So I called AIG Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-613-2646. That's 1-800-613-2646. 1-800-613-2646.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and if you're quick, you can still get in on the radio with us. That number's 855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-FREE, as in Free the People of Hong Kong. With you tonight, it's Aria.
And Mark.
And we've been talking about various genocides and wrongdoings committed by government throughout, the history of humanity, really. And that's taking shape right now in Hong Kong and China. Not strictly limited to Hong Kong. Of course, you have the Uyghur province, or not the Uyghur province, the Uyghur population in a province in China being essentially rounded up, put into re-education camps, and it's receiving worldwide condemnation, except from the United States government, which is unsurprisingly quiet about the entire thing. But let's get back to the phones. We've got Timmy calling from South Park. Timmy, you're on Free Talk Live.
Timmy.
Yeah, that's what I expected. I mean, that's all Timmy is able to say on the show. So, accurate portrayal, I suppose. He wanted to talk about Xi Jinping, which would have been fascinating, but sorry, I can't let you on the air to just say Timmy repeatedly.
Well, it was a good imitation, right?
It was.
Yeah.
It's just limited in where it can be taken.
Okay.
So, Beijing has been particularly critical of Washington's support for the Hong Kong protesters in recent months, with authorities accusing the U.S. of helping to organize demonstrations, claims that the U.S. State Department has called ridiculous. Now, I believe it. The United States economically is scared of China because it's made themselves dependent on China, and that's never a good place to be in.
No, it's an interesting conundrum, because do you support Nixon having gone into China and opening up that market for trade to the world?
I support free trade.
Okay, I support free trade too.
I believe that a business in any given geographic area should be able to trade with the business in another geographic area if they so choose.
This is the conundrum of statism, right? I support
it has many conundrums.
Many. I support free trade, and I support freer trade, because I want people to be freer than they are today, and I see lots of benefits of more freedom over just absolute freedom. And so China being able to do business with the world, businesses in China, people in China being able to do business with people around the world has, undeniably increased the standard of living for the people in China and made life better for them. This is a people that went from, according to stories, eating their children during their revolution. Things were going so bad. Like they had done such a crazy job of killing off the black Chinese in favor of the red Chinese, that to doing trade with the world a few decades later and becoming an economic powerhouse. Just really some great stuff. However, in the process, the leaders, those that would be king in China, have really secured their power.
They have indeed.
And the United States, because it opened up this market, made a lot of people's lives better in China. However, it's also got itself into a relationship that is it's destructive and weird.
Well, we saw the same thing with the United States government's response to Spain and Catalonia. Rather than sending the military to defend the borders of Catalonia, if the people of Catalonia had in fact requested it, which they didn't. But if, for example, they requested, hey,
there's a deal with the devil.
We're being invaded by Spain here. Will you help us to defend our independence and our freedom? The United States government would not have done it.
Aren't they in an agreement with NATO with the government of Spain and not the government of Catalonia?
I don't know.
I mean, they've got treaties at this point.
But I mean, NATO is junk in the first place and should be thrown out as
NATO's
a relic
probably
of the
one
Cold
of
War.
One of the best models for what the United States federal government should in fact be doing. My argument is the federal government really should be very little more than an interstate compact of free trade.
See, I don't even see that as necessary. I mean, why can't company in location A do business with company in location B? Why even
because there's
involve
these
the
organizations
government?
called states.
Right, but they shouldn't exist.
But they do.
They do, yes.
Okay. So in a world where they do, a federation of those states that agree to do business in a free market, as they largely do, in the United States, between states, right? Like,
yes,
it's pretty close to a free market in the United States if you're doing business, say, from New Hampshire to Florida or something. Not perfect, but much better than it is, say, doing business from New Hampshire to Beijing.
Sure.
And that's what, in my opinion, the federal government should be doing, is that particular task, and the task of, securing the borders of any state that wishes to be part of that federation. And I think that should have extended to, if they didn't have all the extra rules of the federal government trying to grow and be the federal government, if it was just those two things, what you would see is Canada, basically most of Central America, maybe even good parts of South America, many parts of Europe, many places in Africa, colonial places in Africa, and a variety of places that would have opted in to this federation. And then you wouldn't have the conflict that the federal government, because the United States military has been used as a tool of imperialism and hegemony, whether people like to admit it or not. I mean, it's undeniable, and it can be shown over and over and over again repeatedly. However, if people are opting in, it's not used as a tool of empire and hegemony on Florida and New Hampshire. So if people then opt in, then you may very well have this one world government that the Birchers are so scared of, in the form of the United States, because it would in fact be this beacon on the hill of liberty that simply is a military that intends to protect those borders. Now, it would get very interesting trying to take in some people from Ghana and people from Connecticut and put them into the same military and pay them the same stuff. I mean, how would this all work? I don't know. But it's, to me, a fascinating idea and a model that could have been a more libertarian world.
Certainly. And if the statehood emblem meant something that valuable, it would be coveted. These other nations, it would be a worldwide government, as you pointed out, essentially, because it was so desired to be part of it. We're offering you this and that and this other thing, and all you have to do is, voluntarily sign up for it. Well, okay, everybody would sign up for it. But what they're offering has become a hollow mockery of what they were supposed to be offering.
Oh, yes.
So rather than offering people economic security and things like that, what we end up with is the only way to escape the foreign policy of the American government is to be an American.
Interestingly, the English common law system that that the Supreme Court operates under is not the common law system of Louisiana. All right, they're under Napoleonic law, and somehow they fit in to this system that we have. So it's not to say that even judicial systems that are different than our own wouldn't work, because they already are. And I don't know whether I'm advocating for this, but I have spent some time thinking about what it might be like. Enough time to wonder whether or not we should replace the stars in the flag with maple leaves, or replace the maple leaf in the Canadian flag with a star. Just saying.
Let's go to the phones real quick. We got David from New Mexico. David, you got like a minute. What's on your mind?
Tranny Talk Live, talk radio you can troll. I heard you were talking about Nazis earlier. Were you talking about any of the gay Nazis?
No.
Which gay Nazis are we talking about? Are your particular gay Nazis? Your New Mexican gay Nazis?
Aside from the gay Nazis at the University of New Mexico radio station, the stormtrooper brown shirt gay Nazis. You know why their shirts are brown, don't you?
I don't know.
And I'm scared of where you're going with
I suspect the reason. I do know what you're alluding to, and I don't know anything about brown shirts having been gay. The things that I read about brown shirts, admittedly sparse, have never intimated this particular claim.
Have you? Oh, really? What history books have you been reading there, Mr. Edgington?
The government ones.
The government ones, the ones that they issue in prison?
Well,
I don't think they issue history books in prison. But
Well,
David,
we have the old ones that we sent to that they sent to the library. Sure.
But you've got to stop waiting until the last minute and a half of the show to call. And
No, I think it was a great call.
I think it was too. I just wish
he
we had
said it was
time
talk
for more
radio
of it.
you can troll, and then he trolled the hell out of us for a minute and a half.
Go head on over to freetalklive.com to check out the archives of the show going back a full 10 years. Again, that's freetalklive.com. We'll be back this same time tomorrow, every night of the week.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? One? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com, and it's a place you can send any business, and they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock is next after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like